have a math question next. It's asking to solve for x for this equation.
Alrighty, hold that up there for just 1 second and I will write that down and we can solve for it. Oops, gosh. I have to apologize, I'm a little bit tired today. My brain's a little bit slow for some reason. Okay. 2x minus 4 equals negative 18. I think I got it right. All right, I can help you out here. So this is a basic, it's a linear equation. I've shown how to solve these with algebra tiles at some point. I could do that again today, but this one's a little bit more complicated one, so I'm going to avoid that. I'm just going to talk about maybe some key things to remember when you're solving equations. The one thing that you want to remember, first off, is that your goal is to isolate x, or the variable. In this case, it's x. But isolate your variable, meaning get it by itself. A lot of times to do this, we need to simplify. So I would say to simplify, we would apply the distributive property. And I'll show you what that is in just a second. And then combine like terms also helps us out. Combine like terms. And then lastly, so if you do those two things, maybe the last little step that I could maybe generalize to solving equations is to use inverse operations or undo. You can think of undo to isolate x. So if it's x minus 3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides to isolate it. So undoing what's happening. So the first part that I talked about was the distributive property. That is when, that looks like this. There's kind of an example of our distributive property. And what this is saying is, or what the parentheses are doing, is they're grouping. They're saying that I'm going to take 2 times both of the things that are in parentheses here. So 2 times the x and 2 times the 7. So I'm going to multiply these two together first. So 2 times x gives us 2x. 2 times the 7 gives us 14. The same is going to apply over here. You see another distributive property over here. This time I'm going to think of it as a negative 3 times 2x and negative 3 times negative 4. So negative 3 times 2x is going to give us negative 6x, and the negative 3 times negative 4 is going to give us a positive 12. Over on the right side of this equation, we haven't touched anything yet, so we're going to rewrite it and call it negative 18 still. So that's my distributive property. Check. Got that done. Now if there are any like terms, I want to combine them. Like terms are terms that have the same variable and same power. So if you notice here, I have positive 2x and I have negative 6x. Those have the same variable. So these are like terms. 14 and 12 would not be like terms with 2x and negative 6x, so we wouldn't put them together. So I got my 2x and negative 6x. I'm going to combine those together. Those give us negative 4x. Then I need to combine my 14 and my 12 together. Those are also like terms, these two. So 14 and 12 together, that's going to give me 26. So I've got negative 4x plus 26 equals negative 18. So I've got my like terms, combine them. I've got a much simpler equation than when I started, so now I'm going to be able to start inversing and undoing. So you notice my variable here, this x, he's got some multiplication. He's being multiplied by negative 4, and 26 is being added to it. So we're going to inverse those by subtracting 26 from both sides to start with. And that gets rid of that, and I have negative 4x. And then over here, I have negative 44. From there, I just need to have one more step to undo. I've got some multiplication that I'm undoing, so I'm going to undo it by dividing by negative 4 on both sides. On the left, my negative 4 divided by negative 4 just gives me 1, so that goes away. And then on the right, I have negative 44 divided by negative 4, and that gives me a positive 11. I could also go back and check this problem by replacing my x in the original problem with 11 and making sure that both sides were equal. Because of time, I'm not going to do that, but you should always get in the habit of doing that when you're solving these equations, especially if they're multiple step like these are, just to make sure that nothing went wrong along the way. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I have got a bunch of different ways to show, but this is one of the ones that, one of the methods, I guess, you could go by. So hopefully that helps.